Hello world, good day and good game to you all. Today we let others do the work with the almost AFK weapon. The Kingsguard Lance is one of the more useful beam rifles in the game, which does all the killing for you. After the hotfix 1.2.23, this thing got a bit more damage, which is just enough to insta-kill enemies in special ops or do a sightseeing tour in Void Erosion Purge. If you want a quick simple build, then here it is with Blair, have fun, but if you want to know more, then let's look at all the details and what turns beam rifles into such an outsider. First, let's look what we can do with the Kingsguard Lance. For proper testing, I have only one weapon in my hands, no components and no reactor unless I need to spam skills. Also, I try to keep the weapon, the Descendants inversion reinforcement, the Arche tuning empty in most of those tests. The Kingsguard Lance can set 3 Guardian Lances. To set one, you have to aim and fire where you want to set the first. Same for the second and the third one. They all have a lifetime that you see on the top. So they disappear after a while. You can extend their lifetime and their range by shooting at them. When you already see 3 lances and want to set another one, then the oldest one will be removed. Like here where I have 3 lances already active, setting another one and it's gone. This happens over and over again and can get very confusing in battle when you remove some lance that you actually wanted to keep. Multi-hit does not really help for Kingsguard Lance because only the beam that you shoot has a multi-hit chance. You see those bullets there, but the Guardian Lance cannot make a multi-hit. Now the lances are a thing on their own. It's not us shooting there, it's the Guardian Lance. So do we still get all the buffs from modules? What if they do a critical hit? Does that count for us? To test this I used Lethal Infection, which gives skill power when you do a critical hit on an enemy. So let's place the lance here and see. Yep, there it is. The critical hit that the lance does counts as if we did this directly, which is very useful. We have 1 stack of Lethal Infection now. In those damage numbers here, we see that the Kingsguard Lance also has chill damage and inflicts frostbite. So what about those debuffs? Let's try Decimator here and see if we also get stacks for that. And yes, it works. For now we can say that all that the lance does counts as if we did it, which is very important, because later on it helps us by choosing good modules and components for a build. Another important thing is that Guardian Lances take a snapshot of your damage. A good way to show this is by using Sweeping Squad. Here you see the damage of the lance is pretty normal, and after killing an enemy it does not get higher on its own. We have those Sweeping Squad stacks now, but the damage does not go up. But as soon as we place it again, the damage goes up and it stays the same even when the Sweeping Squad is long gone. So remember, if you place a lance, then make sure that you have all your buffs active. That gives you the most damage. And as you know, beam rifles charge up their damage. On the first level when you start to shoot, you have the normal 100% damage. Here in this test it is 13,734, this little number there. But at stage 2 your damage gets increased. Now we are at 17,855, which means that Kingsguard Lance does 30% more damage on stage 2. And here on stage 3 it is 24,722 damage, which means 80% more damage for Kingsguard Lance on level 3. But the chill damage does not get bigger. But Kingsguard Lance comes with a nice amount of chill damage, so we want to make use of that a little bit too. The Guardian Lances will have the same stats and fire rate as the weapon, so we pump that up. The rounds per magazine are damn low. In battle you can set 3 lances, increase your lifetime a bit, and the magazine is almost empty. For a build I would say that this weapon is just a little helper rather than the primary damage dealer, especially with such a long reload time. The critical hit rate is not the lowest but also not very high. It can be hard to increase that unless you choose the right Descendant. As I just said, this weapon will only be a helper, so the Descendant is also a damage dealer. And when we use someone like Blair, Hailey, Enzo or Valby, then we can pump up that little crit rate to a nice level. Accuracy and range does not really matter except for how far away you can set your lances. So to sum this up, Descendant should be a skill damage dealer, maybe increasing crit rate. Kingsguard Lance will be the helpful helper. No weak point damage, no multi-hit. The Guardian Lance can give us buffs. Elemental Enhancement is useless on higher beam charges, but we take it anyway in addition to the base chill damage for better scaling. here's the reason why some more chill damage can be useful. The weapon has one element core slot, so let's make use of it. The weapon has chill damage built in, so we put a chill core there. The cores I can show you only in theory because I am poor and had no luck rolling good stats. So with better cores you can get a bit more damage than seen here. 2 fire rate cores give good damage, also does the chill attack core and the firearm attack. For weapon options a must have is flat chill damage, then the next best thing for damage is critical hit damage. The remaining 2 depend on your build. For example, when you have a Descendant that can boost the critical hit rate, then even more critical hit rate would be nice here. Any other Descendant may like firearm attack more. A while ago I used attribute status effect trigger rate to make sure that the enemies are always frozen when they come near the Guardian Lances. Choose the 2 options that fit your playstyle here. Also this weapon has a core slot for more damage against one Legion, so what Legion do we use? In Kingston the special ops is Legion of Darkness, so we could dominate them even more with the right option here and a good multiplier on the weapon core. Okay, let's begin with the usual attack damage and fire rate as always. We also said that we want to make use of a Descendant that can pump up critical hit rates, so we put a lot of critical hit chance and damage in there. And then always a look on the ultimate modules. There are some good special mods like Sweeping Squad. Use that if you want more damage on the weapon. Spray and Pray is a funny interaction. We can run around and when one of the Guardian Lances do a critical hit, then we can shoot 3 seconds long without using any bullet. See that? Walking around doing nothing and suddenly we have the buff. Brisk Walk works too, giving you some movement speed, which is very useful when there are no movement speed cores on the weapon. So let's use that for now. Now you have 2 slots left over that you can use for anything you like. Use whatever is perfect for your playstyle. I take some more chill damage to make sure that the enemies get frostbite all the time, which we need for the Descendant builds that we look at now. If you want to boost the weapon even more, then you can make use of acrobat components. They give a good amount of crit rate, which is perfect for crit gunner Descendants. Even better are the Polar Knight components. They are very interesting because they work no matter who you are. Fire Blair or Electric Sharon all get that buff, because the weapon inflicts frostbite on the enemies. So you and your weapon get those critical hit damage stacks for free. This is my favorite so far. What we try to do in the Arche tuning is taking the affinity damage maybe. As you see, the affinity damage gives a little bit extra damage. Watch the green numbers. Without extra affinity damage we have 19,225 damage. With affinity damage enabled we have 22,322 damage. It ain't much, but it's something. Also some more crit rate for the weapon and some critical hit damage on the top. We avoid the weak point damage because the beam rarely hits a weak point on enemies, and for killing enemies we use our skills, so no need for that. Also multi-hit damage does not help the Guardian Lances at all, so the path is almost clear. Or is it not? Nah, not really, because Colossus damage is stupid too. But hey, we want the Descendant to kill too, so we just go the other way around. This is your start for the Arche tuning tree. If you really need more points, then you can get rid of those points about affinity damage and maybe the small critical hit damage point too. For my special ops Blair, I went with this Arche tree, which gives more range, less cost and a bit of skill damage. With the Backdraft module you can get even more damage out of Kingsguard lands. The second skill that increases your movement speed and gives you MP back also can increase your critical hit rate, which helps a lot. Hailey was also fun to play in Void Erosion Purge. It took a bit longer, but placing the Guardian Lances and let them do their job was nice to watch. The Arche tree is almost the same, but this time more cooldown instead of the extra damage for more explosions of course. And the modules are all about less cost, cooldown and some damage. Very important is the cryogenic cluster shot, which you spam all the time and lets the Guardian Lances explode them. Other Descendants you could use are Enzo, who is just made to increase weapon damage. Valby has a module to increase crit rate too, so together with some Guardian Lances she can have even more crowd control. But you can also use any other skill damage dealer that does not make use of any weapon. Special ops with Ajax and Kingsguard lands was fun, jumping around while the Guardian Lances take care of the bosses. And this is with my stupid rolled cores. So if you have some catalyst left over, then I highly suggest to give Kingsguard lands a try. It is one of the not so popular weapons, but in the last updates they increased the damage of the Guardian Lances a lot. Now it's time to go out there watching how the enemies can't move a bit and slowly die. Have fun with that. Good game. Goodbye.